Darrell Jess Johnson, Seconds Out, here with the Portal Way podcast co-host, and from Fight Hype, Sean Zittel. Sean, how are you?
I'm great, DJ. Got a good fight tonight. Fought at, I think, a higher level than people gave these guys credit for coming in. I thought tonight's fight, wasn't just a good fight, but it was fought at a pretty high skill level, especially early. So, good night.
We talked before the fight. You hit both of these on the head. Why did you expect to see out of Keith Thurman, out of Mario Barrios, what we saw in the main event?
Well, I guess to get to what we saw actually happen, I thought what we saw from Keith Thurman tonight it's the second chapter now, and I see from him not as blazing fast with the hand speed as before, and his legs not able to bicycle around the ring like they once were. But that was a good thing tonight from Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman, going back to when he fought Leonard Bundu, has had a problem with excessive movement. It's a little bit much, the lateral movement. And tonight, I actually thought maybe his legs slowing down a little bit did him good, the way he's adjusted to it, because he was more efficient in his movement tonight. He didn't need to get all the way out of range and then get all the way back in. He was taking just a step out and a step back in. And he was pivoting to his left, pivoting to his right, not excessive movement. And I saw from Keith Thurman tonight, not as athletic a Keith Thurman as before, but a more efficient, and maybe this is what happens with veteran fighters, maybe a smarter Keith Thurman than before. So, and then from Mario Barrios, I thought he really fought a better fight tonight than he did against Davis. He opened it up. He took chances. There was a number of times in this fight where Mario Barrios actually threw the right counter at the right time from the right angle, and it missed anyways, to Keith Thurman's credit. So there was a lot of times Barrios had the right positioning, stayed very tight and disciplined, and he was just off by an inch on a number of his counters. So I give props to Keith Thurman for that. And he was so relaxed tonight, was Thurman. I've seen him visibly uncomfortable in number of fights tonight, and I never saw that happen tonight. Even in the 8th round, we got a little buzzed by a body shot. He was in control from 1 to 12, very composed, boxed when he wanted to, stepped in when he wanted to, loved how accurate his jab was tonight. So, he's not ready for Terrence Crawford next, or probably the winner of Spence Ugas. But it looks like he's only one fight away from being there. This was step 1 of 3. Next fight should be step 2, and then step 3. He's ready to fight these guys again. He's not going to be a favorite against them, DJ, but he's a player again. He's a legit player. I think he's still a top 5 welterweight. So it was a good performance from Keith Thurman.
Your co-host of the Portal Way, Sean Porter, said we will see a rejuvenated Keith Thurman. Vintage Keith Thurman. Is that what we saw tonight?
Didn't see quite what I'd say a vintage Keith Thurman night. We saw a new Keith Thurman. Nonito Donaire, we've seen him have some success in this second half of his career. And it's kind of similar to what Keith did tonight in that more efficient movement, less wasted movement, and not as explosive, but the timing. He's starting to have very good timing. He always had good timing, but his timing was excellent tonight. And what they lose in speed, they start to make up for in efficiency, veteran smarts, and timing. And I saw that from Keith tonight. That said, he's still a fight off, I think, from really being doing himself the best service possible to actually win those fights and not just take them. So I agree with my man Sean Porter, because he sounded hungry in there in the post-fight. He didn't sound like, now I got that $1.5 million check. Time to relax for 6 or 7 months, and then I'll see you guys later this year. No, he sounded like this was step 1 of a serious return to boxing. And I expect him to improve upon this performance next time. You just didn't know with Keith Thurman. The saga with Spence did not reflect well on him, and been out of the ring so long, we didn't know what we were going to get from him tonight. And I'm a believer that to not write him off. He's still a player in this division after what he showed tonight.
Let's move to the co-main. Leo Santa Cruz, as you predicted, dominated Carvajal. Yes. Tell us what you saw out of Leo and what possibly may be next for him.
What I liked from Santa Cruz tonight was he was the exact same guy as before. There was not even for a split second, a hesitancy. Again, he was fighting an overmatched guy, but there was no hesitancy in sticking his nose right back in there, letting his combinations go. He looked like the same guy as before. Actually, he even looked a little better to me tonight. There was a few moments he hurt Carvajal with an overhand right at the end of the second. He hurt him a couple times with this overhand right he was throwing in the last 10 seconds. And what I saw in that shot was Santa Cruz sitting on it better, which veteran fighters get better at as they get older. Them punches don't come out as fast, but sometimes they sit on them better than they used to. We saw that at times with Thurman, but I like the blonde hair. Thought that was a nice touch. Thought that was a nice, let me be rejuvenated, come back with but kind of had the Naoya Inoue haircut going on. But he looked to me every bit the fighter he was that fought Davis in Halloween of 2020. He didn't look shot. He didn't even look regressed. It looked like Leo Santa Cruz. It's just he's not a puncher. And he's not a puncher, but at 126, Navarrete's bigger than him. He's a natural 26. At Maxillo's bigger than him. But he's still a great fight for any of these guys. And he brings that prestige that those young fighters need to prove themselves. So whether it's Navarrete, which probably won't happen because he's with Top Rank, or whether it's with Maxillo, that's the fight I hope happens next. And I favor Maxillo in that fight. Younger, fresher, punches harder, bigger at the weight. But Santa Cruz, with his heart and his balls and now his veteran experience, combinations, kind of underrated on how quick his combinations are. He could put 3, 4, 5, 6 together, quicker than these guys might think. He's still a threat to anybody at 26, but I do give the edge to the younger guys in the division right now.
And if you talked about Maxillo, what were your thoughts on his upset win 2 weeks ago? And what do you think would happen if he faced Gary Russell Jr. in a rematch?
Well, I think that, despite not being able to put together a whole lot offensively up top, he worked the body really well in that fight. And he got enough done up top to pound out his hard-earned decision. Gary Russell let that fight get away from him as the fight continued, but was very accurate with his straight left hand. The right shoulder, whatever, had its problems, but he's very accurate with that pop shot, bang, just that straight left. But that wasn't enough to win him the fight. And Gary, at one time, may have had the fastest pair of hands in boxing. And to my eyes, it looked like Maxillo was maybe only a touch slower or almost just as fast as Gary. And I think 5 years ago, we would have saw a difference in speed. So that tells me Russell at 33, inactivity, injuries, those gifts are starting to fade. Because that's the first thing that goes. It isn't your punch, it isn't your smarts, it's your gifts, it's your speed and your legs and whatnot. And while he's still fast, I don't think he's as freakishly otherworldly fast as he used to be. So I see him now at 33 on the downside and Maxillo on the upside. So I think a rematch, I would still favor the younger guy as much as Russell frustrated him. Maxillo, his talent base, he has a ceiling. He's not there yet, obviously, but he actually has some ceiling to him. He has a strong cast. He's explosive. He has punching power, and he has speed. So it's about the in-between game, the skills and the smarts. Can Freddie Roach bring that out of him like he did Pacquiao? Agree this, nobody's Manny Pacquiao. Mark Masayo's no Manny Pacquiao, but athletically and talent-wise, explosiveness, he's got some tools to work with that can come up at a higher level. That's where the sweet science comes into play. So I look at Maxillo as a guy who could beat Navarrete. I think he would beat Santa Cruz, but honestly, in his mid-20s, there's still room to grow, and that's what I want to see happen. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Having a great boxing brain is rare, just like it's rare to be a big puncher, and all fighters know what they're doing in there, but will he be able to develop the skill set and the smarts so that his explosiveness can be more effective and really work for him? We'll see. But he has a ceiling. He has a ceiling. Yeah.
Final question. Tell us about how you got started on the Portaway podcast, and you're with Sean a lot. Fighters retire and then come back. Do you see any signs of him itching to want to get back in the ring, or is he done? Is he a permanent member of the media?
I don't see any signs of him itching to get back in the ring. Honestly, I saw such peace and relief release from his body the day after the fight. To be completely honest, the guy looked as at peace as I've ever seen someone. Which I guess that'll happen to you after going to war for 30 years. I guess making a lot of money and getting to walk away from it will give you a. And but when maybe that'll pass. You never know. And the one thing that does make me question, I love Sean and his health, so I don't know if I really want him to come back because of the sport that he's in. But he may look back at the camp and what his father said, and the reality of the fact that it wasn't the greatest camp of his career, and he could think to himself, I was this close, 10 rounds into the fight against the best fighter in the world, and I wasn't even prepared at my best. What if I did? It's probably inevitable that is at least going to play out in his head. Will it make him return? I don't know, and I don't know. And he lights up a camera. Sean, whether you know boxing or not, you know who he is. It's like, who's that guy on TV with the big smile so I could see this really taking off for him. He called the fights tonight on Fox. I could really see him taking off. He's acting in a movie soon, independent film where he plays a boxer. So Sean's got a lot to offer outside of boxing. But that said, like I said, that thought could be in the back of his mind. I really don't know. I really don't know.
Thank you for your time, Sean. Appreciate it.